What's up, everybody? I'm Mark Bell. You're catching me on my 10-minute walk. During the quarantine, I think some people accelerated, and I think some people got upset, got depressed, maybe fell behind more, maybe gained more weight, maybe you lost your job and you're feeling bad about all that. It's all understandable, but you could have also moved forward during that time. It's your choice. We must always understand that it's a choice that we make. No matter how glim or how the circumstances appear to be, no man is afraid of or fears much of anything. It's our view that makes it so, right? It's our view, it's our vantage point that we have on a particular thing. It makes you terrified to try it, makes you feel like you're a loser, makes you feel intimidated to give it a go. All those things, right? But during the time of quarantine, I knew it would be a good time to lean into the resistance of life, and I started up making supplements that I wanted to make for a while, because a lot of other facets of the business were shut down. Other parts of my life slowed down, and so I took the time to be with family a little bit more, and I took the time to think about my own business a little bit more. And how can I disrupt the business? And how can I rethink and reevaluate and reappraise what we're doing so we can become more successful? I don't think anybody, people are like, oh, how does Jeff Bezos or how's The Rock, how do they care about becoming more successful? Well, it's pretty simple. Having success makes you feel good. And the opposite of that, going backwards, makes you feel bad. So nobody wants to go backwards, no matter how high a level of performer you are. Something else to keep in mind is that if you did find yourself procrastinating, or if you do find yourself procrastinating, I don't want you to beat yourself up over it, because you can always get to it at some other time. No, just kidding. I don't want you to beat yourself up over it, because you know who procrastinates? Pretty much everybody. To some degree. It's just a habit, right? And then what's a habit? A habit is literally made up beliefs that you're holding on to that you believe. Sometimes those things could be serving us, and sometimes those things can be against us. Why do I talk about this stuff so much? Why do I just continue to pound in your head about how important the mindset is? It's because it's my belief that without this understanding, that you will fall into a trap, and you will hit a brick wall at some point, and your ceiling will be much shorter as to where you can go. I think a lot of times somebody's like, I want to make $100,000. That's a goal for me. And then sometimes that person gets there, but then they're kind of stuck. They're stuck at 80,000, stuck at 100,000. I know some people watching right now are like, hey, I'd be happy being stuck there. You're never happy being stuck anywhere. Nobody wants to be stuck, trust me. Because as soon as you have $80,000, you'll live an $80,000 life. And as soon as you have $100,000, you'll probably live a $100,000 life. You'll acquire more bills, and you'll have more things, or you'll just have a business that requires you to pay other people or something like that, and it just becomes, it grows. But as our income grows, our output tends to grow as well, especially in the beginning, because you don't understand is that you need to be fulfilled from within, so you don't need to buy a bunch of external stuff. The real key to richness is the person that can deal with going through life with the least amount of stuff, but the most amount of happiness, right? Not an easy thing for a lot of people in today's world to do, because if we don't have that rolly, or we don't have a special car or special this or special that, we don't feel so special, right? But for me, this watch here, it's a nice symbol of some achievements for me, and I wear it here and there. But out of the 365 days out of the year, and I have 2 Rolex watches, maybe I wear this 5 or 10 times a year. But what I want to talk to you about today is I want to talk to you about a theory of mine, and it's not really just of mine. I've heard other people talk about similar things, but I have an analogy for you that I think will be helpful. Before I get to the analogy, I want to talk to you about goal setting. Goal setting is an important principle to have. You are not your goals. This is important to understand. You want to lose 10 pounds, you fall short of losing 10 pounds, you only lose 5 and you gave them the 5 back. You're not a loser. You're not a failure. You struggled with that goal because the things you implemented weren't effective for you at the time. You couldn't stay on it long enough. You couldn't do it long enough. You didn't enjoy it long enough. You weren't interested enough in doing it, so you discontinued it. No big deal. The plan, the map that you had, wasn't sufficient. Okay, not good enough. Scribble it out, right? Crumble it up, throw it out. Make another one. Make another plan. And then maybe you can stick to that plan the next time around. But before you do that, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to envision. And this is where things can get weird sometimes for people because they don't believe in these things. Now, if you have great resistance to this right off the bat, then I'm going to call you a sucker, because trust me when I say many, many successful people have done this practice. This is planting the seed. So pretend that you've been there already. Imagine your goal is to make 100K. Well, what does your current check look like? What does your current, when you get your checks, let's say you make 50K right now. So I want you to picture now, right now, picture what your 2-week check, let's say you get your check every 2 weeks. Picture what it would look like if it was double, okay? I want you to envision that. I want you to envision what it would look like, you driving home from work and calling your wife, or you getting home to work saying, hey, wifey, or hey, significant other, we're going out to eat. Take them out to eat and you say, hey, I got an announcement to make. I got a raise and we're making 6 figures. I want you to envision what that day would look like. I want you to play through that. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about some of the things that you would do with the extra money. What's the extra money for? Is the extra money so you can post some cool pictures? Watch out for the poop. Is the extra money so you can post some cool pictures on Instagram, or is it really for you? And is it really to help secure your family? Is it really going to provide some more convenient, better, more fun living that actually fall in line with your principles, your values, and the things that you want to do, the things that you're interested in? So I have this theory that I've been thinking about quite a bit, because I really believe that achieving your goals is all about connectivity of your mind. Connecting your mind to a belief. Remember what I said earlier, beliefs are just made up. Somebody believing that they can be successful regardless of the fact that they're a minority, regardless of the fact that they're black, regardless of the fact they're Mexican, regardless of the fact that somebody is white, of white privilege perhaps, that they're going to make their own way, they're going to do things their own way, they're not going to just follow in daddy's footsteps, they're not just going to take the keys to the family business and run it. That's a mindset. It's a mindset to say, hey, I don't care what's going on in the external world. I don't care if America is run by Joe Biden. I don't care if America is run by Donald Trump. I'm unfazed. Whether somebody wants to wear a mask or doesn't want to wear a mask, I'm not going to allow that to bother me, because I'm on my own mission. I'm doing things my own way. I want to succeed. I want to advance. I want to go forward. I'm not worried about the choices that other people make. I'm going to concern myself with myself. I'm not going to worry about who our leader is. I'm going to be the leader that people are looking for. I'm going to become somebody that people can lean on. I'm not going to worry about the value of other men. I'm going to worry about being a man of value myself. So when I think about goals, and I always have to start out with a mindset, having a good, strong, powerful mindset, and understanding that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall short. That's part of setting goals. Part of this whole entire journey is for you to realize that you're a beginner. You ain't shit. You're gonna mess up. You're a white belt. The more that you mess up in the beginning, the better, because you can have error correction. All knowledge comes from being able to correct some of these errors. You correct the error and you move. You correct the error and you move. You correct the error and you move. And you keep figuring out a way, how do I move forward? How am I going to get past this particular thing? It is all a mindset. I know some people won't like this quote, but I find it to be fascinating. And it's from O.J. Simpson. You can't get much more controversial than this. Everyone's ears perked up because everyone's like, I can't wait to hate on whatever Mark says next. I think it's an interesting mindset to think about. O.J. Simpson said, I'm not black, I'm O.J. I find that to be very interesting. Now, O.J. was crazy. He may have killed his wife or ordered his wife to be killed. I don't know what the hell he did. But what I find interesting about that is a mindset. Him denouncing that he's, not black is odd, right? But my main point in mentioning that, or even bringing that up, is that's a mindset. He wasn't going to allow the color of his skin to impede anything that he was going to do. He was super, super successful. I think it's a great mindset to say, I'm not going to worry. I'm not worried about the color of my skin. People are going to judge me for different reasons on the color of my skin, who I am, what I am. I don't want people to judge me just because I'm white. I would say the same thing. I'm not white, I'm Mark Bell. Like, I'm for everybody. I'm pro-human. I want to see everyone be healthy, strong, fit. These messages are for everybody. I'm not hoping that these messages just get seen by men. I'm not hoping that these images and videos and all the stuff I do, making the world a better place to live, it's not just for white people. It's not just for black people. It's not just for Mexican people. It's for everybody, right? It's for all. So when you think about your goal, you have to make sure your mindset is strong enough for you to reach that goal. Now, what I'd like you to do with your goals, I'd like you to envision life as a giant maze. And when you see a maze when you're a little kid, if you remember, when you see a maze on a piece of paper, where do you usually start out? Well, it says start, and you're a little kid, you're not super creative, so you're probably just going to start where it says start, and then you're going to run into a wall, and then because you're a little kid, you're going to cheat, probably, and maybe just go through the wall, but we're not allowed to cross through those lines, right? So you try that beginning part and you trace around and you find you hit a dead end. What's the very next move that you make? Very next move is that you go to the end. You fast forward to the end. You skip to the end. You warp zone it to the end. And you connect the end to the beginning, right? That's what you need to do with your goals. Remember, this channel is a mentorship. This is Smelly University that we got going on here. And with this mentorship, I want you to keep these things in mind. I want you to actually practice this. So let's say it's your goal to one day own a Tesla. Maybe find a buddy that has a Tesla, or go to a Tesla dealership. Sit in a Tesla. Drive a Tesla. That's you fast forwarding to the end, right? That's you skipping the process of the stuff in the middle. I'm not worried or concerned about what's in the middle. I'm not worried or concerned about what those roadblocks are, because when those roadblocks come my way, I don't know what they are yet. I will figure out a way to be strong enough. I will figure out a way to be swift enough. I'll figure out a way to be quick enough. I'll figure out a way to outsmart those obstacles. I'm going to beat those obstacles. I know that I will beat them, because the goal that I set and where I'm starting, and I know that where I want to end up is true, because I played around with the end result a little bit, and when I did, it spiked my interest level even more. You may have heard of the law of attraction, right? So the law of attraction is, you're thinking black Tesla, right? And you sit in a black Tesla, you take a black Tesla for a test drive. Now all of a sudden, everywhere you go, you see black Teslas, right? That's the law of attraction. But there's another law at play here. It's the law of getting off your ass and kicking some ass every single day. You have to make sure that you're not just thinking the law of attraction is going to help. You have to know and understand that the only way it's going to happen, the only way it's going to be a thing, is if you make it a thing. You have to work, and you're going to have to put in time. It's the only way these things are going to work out. So think about your goals. Think about what it is you want to do. Start to match up your beliefs with those goals. Start to match up your actions with those goals. And I think that's where a lot of people are missing. I think a lot of people are missing the ability to match up their actions with the actual goal. And if you're having a hard time of matching up the action with the goal, it just simply means you're not interested enough at the moment. So again, I like to use weight loss often because I get so many questions about weight loss. If you currently have tried to lose weight a bunch of different ways and you've fallen flat, you continue to fail, it just means at the moment you're not interested enough in the diets that you're into to stay committed to them long enough to be able to actually fulfill your goals and your dreams. One reason these things are called dreams is because they're a long shot. I've mentioned before that when I was young and when I was nowhere, everyone said I was a dreamer. Now that I'm rich and I'm somewhere, everyone says, easy for you to say you're rich. I guess maybe that's so. Maybe that is the way it is, but I'm somebody that I am a dreamer, but I'm also a believer. And it's going to be very difficult. I'm not saying that you need to be like me. I'm just saying there's these universal laws to achieving some of these goals. They're universal. They've worked for a lot of people. I'm not saying there's not any other way to get there, because there certainly is. But these are some of the things that I've seen. These are some of the ways I've seen to get there. I love having you guys part of this. I love the positive feedback I'm getting. I love the comments that you guys are sharing. What is it that you're stuck with right now? You know, where are you? Is it a financial thing? Money situation? You're not sure? Because I think solving financial issues is one of the easiest things to come by. And that doesn't mean that you're a chump because you haven't figured it out yet. It just means, for me personally, whenever I help anybody with it, it seems to be one of the more simple things. But you know what? You'd be shocked. Not many people ask me about it. There's a lot of people that are close to me, even a lot of employees. It's a tough position for an employee to put an employer in. However, I think it's a legitimate question. And maybe you don't word it, and maybe you don't say, how do I make more money? Even though I think the question's fine. Maybe you word it this way and say, how can I provide more value for this company? I want to do more. And I have had some people come to me and say that. We've had a few people over the years, now that I think about it. So I can't say that no one said it to me. A couple people said it to me, and we addressed it. And we were able to work them up. I mean, your employer should be able to, you always want good explanations towards stuff, right? So your employer should be able to give you an explanation on why that may or may not be the case, or why that may or may not happen. Maybe they'll give you an assessment that you weren't prepared for. Maybe they're going to say, hey, you know, it's cool you want more money, but it'd be great if you showed up on time. Maybe you're like, whoa, didn't see that one coming. Maybe there's a couple things that you're doing currently that you're unaware of. But hey, better to be aware of them now and be able to knock them out of the park and say, oh my God, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. I need to do, okay, you got me. I need to do a better job of that. But from an employer's standpoint, it's good for people to understand my perspective. You know, I want the whole company to do better. So if you can figure out ways for your entire company to do better, if you can figure out ways of directly impacting the bottom line or ways to directly impact maybe even just whatever the company's mission statement is. If you can provide value into that, then it would seem to make some logical sense that you would be able to start to make a little bit more money. Anyway, I hope you find this video useful. Remember that maze analogy that I said? You can see, I'll walk you right over to it right now. This watch right here, I went into a Rolex store 2 years ago and bought a Rolex that fit me at the time. But I saw this one there and I was like, that's the one I got my eye on. And I was like, this one at the time was too much of a stretch for me. So I knew it didn't make any sense for me to actually purchase it. I was going to be overreaching if I tried to go with this one. So I didn't. I went with a less expensive one. It was still beautiful. It was still really nice. And it worked great for me for 2 years. And then 2 years later, I was in a better position. I still never stopped thinking about this one. I still ended up with this. Now, you got to keep in mind, for me personally, I don't care about this at all. This doesn't mean anything to me. Someone came up to me and robbed me, I'd be like, here you go. I'd take it right off, hand it to them, no questions asked, wouldn't have any resistance, because I really don't care about it that much. But it is nice and shiny, and it does look cool. But here she is. Here's the Tesla, sitting here in all her glory. That's what I wanted. I went and I test drove this with my wife. We bought them right there on the spot. We didn't have to necessarily use that maze analogy that I gave you, but I'll show you where I did use the maze analogy. Follow me. This. What's up, man? This is where I used that maze analogy I was talking about. For this whole thing. This whole thing was a dream for many, many years. I would drive around Woodland. I would drive around Sacramento. I'd drive around East Sac. I'd drive around West Sac. I'd drive around Natomas. I'd drive around Davis. I don't know why I drove around Davis. Couldn't afford it at the time, but I was like, I am going to one day have a gym. I'm going to have a facility that just has all the stuff I need to get as strong as I possibly can, and to also assist other people in getting as strong as they can. And I would envision this. The reason why I was able to envision this is because I worked for a company called EliteFTS.com, and I knew of the type of equipment. I also later ended up working with like Rogue, but I knew about this equipment. I've seen this equipment before. It was already in my mind. It was already in my head, and I became obsessed with it. You know, every day I was like, how do I get enough space? I thought of everything you could possibly think of. Some of the things that you guys may have thought of in having your own gym. I thought, could I just have a storage container? Could I just have a storage container and stuff some weights in there and pull some weights out and have a couple people come train with me here and there? But for this is I used that same maze analogy with this. One thing that helped me further visualize this, you got to get the vision whatever way you can get it. You know, whatever glasses you need to put on to be able to see what you need to see, get them. Figure out a way to get them. And so what I did is I had SuperTraining gym living inside someone else's gym. It was called Body Construction Zone, and my rent was free. I paid with my own sweat equity. I paid with my own personal training that I did for the gym itself. And we had some of this equipment. That gave me the vision. That gave me the idea. That gave me the concept. That gave me the confidence. That boosted up my confidence. What if during this journey, people are always talking about how they lack confidence? Well, what if I was to tell you that in your journey to lose 20 pounds, it wasn't about losing 20 pounds? What if you understood from the beginning that you could just gain confidence? You could beget confidence. You can go and get confidence. You can go and gain confidence on your own when you learn how to actually do these things. Maybe you learn how to make money. Maybe you learn how to work out better. Maybe you learn how to feel better about yourself. Second you feel better about yourself, second you start dropping some weight, you smile more. You feel better about yourself. You build confidence. So as much as we talk about this releasing of body weight and trying to get rid of it forever, that's just a small piece of the puzzle. The reason why we want to do that is because it will build confidence. The reason why we're obsessed with Rollies and Teslas and all these different fancy fun things is just to simply build some confidence. We don't want to rely on just these things that I pointed out earlier, because that is not the true marker of your life. These are just fun little things you can pick up as a bonus along the way. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you all later.